When you look at a page of option prices, moving up and down, flashing on the screen, what do those things actually represent? Well, I want to explain that today, and it's going to lead onto how we approach trading. Let's take any stock right now. Let's try Apple. Okay, Apple, and here are some options going out to 49 days. And if you look at, let's say, the 245 put, what does that mean? Well, it's trading at about $2.74. What $2.74 is, that option price represents the market's price for insurance that Apple, trading at 272 right now, won't drop about 10% in the next 49 days. Let me say that again. Apple's trading at 270, a little over 272, 272.17. A 10% drop would take it down to about 244, 245 or so. Well, we have the 245 put. The 245 put, priced at $2.74, that is the price of the insurance. The market, the price the market wants for insuring 100 shares of Apple stock against a 10% drop in price. That's what that means. You go down even further. Let's say it's a 225 put, trading at about $1.12. 225 put, this one right here, it's cheaper because you take more risk, going from 272 down to 225. About a 20% drop. The point is that the more risk you take, the more risk you're willing to take, the cheaper the insurance. Now, you'll hear people talk about options. Well, they're for hedging and speculation. Well, hedging in this case, if I'm long 100 shares of stock and I'm concerned about a 10% or whatever drop in the stock price, I can buy insurance in the form of that put. If I think it's going to drop 10%, if the 10% drop would put me out of business, I might buy that 245 put as a hedge, as an insurance policy. Now let's think about this for a second. Do you own a house? Do you have insurance on that house? And you pay every month, maybe every 6 months, maybe once a year, I don't know, whatever the policy requires, but you're paying that premium for the insurance policy that if your house burns down, hope it doesn't, but if it burns down, your insurance company will step in and write you a check for $500,000, whatever the number is, right? And the more you want to insure, the more expensive your house. So policy on $1 million house is going to be more expensive than a house that's worth $500,000. Okay, same thing here. The more risk you're willing to, or the more insurance you want to buy on your Apple stock, the more expensive the put is, which is the insurance on that stock. But let me ask you a question. Has your house ever burned down? I'm sure somebody listening to this, it has experienced that. It's horrible. It's terrible. But most people don't have their houses burned down. So what happens to that insurance money that you've paid? Well, it goes into the insurance company's bottom line. They price their insurance according to the risk of your house burning down. But most of the time, houses don't burn down. Most of the time, the insurance company doesn't pay out any money, doesn't pay out on a policy. So let me ask you this then. Who makes more money? You, the person buying the insurance, or the insurance company? For most of you, it's going to be the insurance company. So how does that relate to this Apple put? Well, if people want to buy that insurance, they want to buy that 245 put because they're long some Apple stock and they want that insurance policy, okay, they'll buy it and presumably rest easy. But somebody has to sell it to them. Somebody has to take the other side of that put. They want to buy it, a trader will sell it to them. And that trader is acting as the insurance company. The insurance company for your house is taking on risk that you don't want. Okay, I don't want to have to come up with $1 million to have to replace my house if it burns down. I'll pay the insurance company for a policy. Same thing here. I will pay a market maker. I'll pay a trader to take the other side of my long put, and that person's going to be short that put. Now, a lot of times, not every time, just like that insurance policy never pays out, and you just keep paying monthly or yearly or whatever it is, money you pay for that insurance policy, you never use it. Same thing with that 245 put. Now, I'm not saying that Apple won't drop 10% in the next 49 days. Maybe it will, maybe it won't, I don't know. And that's the key. The insurance company doesn't just have a policy with you and your house. They have policies with tens of thousands of houses in your area, millions in your state. They make a lot of little insurance bets. They take the risk that you don't want to have. As a trader, I'll sell that 245 put. But I'm not just going to do it at Apple. And I'm not going to make it a big risk. I'm not going to do 20 of them. I'll do one. And I'll sell a put in Meta. I'll sell a put in Tesla. I'll sell a put in S&Ps. I'll sell a put in gold. I'll sell a put in bonds. I'll sell a put in whatever. So just like the insurance company that has thousands and thousands of policies, I'll have tens or hundreds of puts across different stocks, across different underlyings. And you say, well, wait, Tom, wait, it's that 245 put. If I sell that put, holy smokes, I'm taking a max loss of $24,000. I don't want to do that. I don't want to be the insurance company that has to write a $500,000 check. I don't want this to happen to me if the stock goes to zero. Okay, fine. Let me show you what you can do that insurance company can't do or generally can't do. I'll turn this into a vertical. I'm selling puts, but I'll buy the 240 put, sell the 245 put. So I'm still short the 245. Now my risk is $444. I don't want to lose $444. That might be too big for you still, but it's a lot less than $24,000. And so whether you have a big account or a small account, you can begin to build a portfolio of short premium trades. So when we talk about selling options as the fundamental way that we make money trading, that our style of trading is, that's what this is. We are playing insurance company. We are taking the risk that other traders don't want, that other investors, pension funds, insurance companies, whoever owns that stock, we're taking the risk that they don't want. And we're both playing a probability game. It's all based on probabilities. The insurance company is basing its numbers on probabilities, and the market's basing its numbers on probabilities. Here, I see there's an 82% probability that that option is going to expire worthless. Is it accurate? Well, it's as accurate as the volatility estimate in Apple is right now. It might break through. They might drop below 245. I don't know. There's a 20% chance it will. That's why I have to make a lot of small trades like this. So that, yes, one might be a loser. One house might burn down. But 10,000 other houses don't. It's the same thing with trading options. Yes, if you want to buy insurance policies, it's if you want to buy that 245 put and pay $272 for it, $2.72 times 100, you want to do that? Okay, great. You need pretty deep pockets to make that work, because most of the time it's not gonna make money for you. Well, it might, if the stock moves down, you might make a couple of pennies, but for the risk you're taking, it might not be worth it. It's a little like buying insurance policies on all the houses in your neighborhoods, thinking, gee, maybe one of them will burn down at some point. You need pretty deep pockets to do that, because you might be in an area where the houses just don't burn down. They have sprinkler systems, a solid fire department, whatever. So what are you doing? You're just feeding money into a product that isn't gonna profit. By the same token, let's clear this out. If I sell this 245 put, is it worth it? Am I getting enough premium to take that risk? That's a judgment that you have to make. The insurance company makes it. The insurance company says, I'll look at your house, I'll estimate its value, and I'll assign a probability that it might burn down. And they come up with your premium. And they'll pack in some profit margin for themselves. So they charge you more than the probability would warrant, but you pay it anyway because you don't want to have to come up with $500,000 to replace your house. Same thing with this put. I have to decide as a trader whether $2.72 is enough credit for taking that risk and for the capital that I have to put up in that trade. There's no right or wrong answer to that, and I'll address that in another video. But that's a choice you have to make as a trader. And we all own our choices as a trader. If I don't want to take that risk, I can use a vertical. But the bottom line is, yes, you can buy options and try to scalp them and maybe catch a big move one way or the other. Buy calls if you think the stock's going up a lot. Buy puts if you think the stock's going to go down a lot. But it's a hard way to make money, in my opinion. You can do it sometimes, but it's hard to do it over and over and over again. That's why I look to sell options. I want to make money. I want to hit singles. I want to make a small amount of money a lot of times for a long time, just like an insurance company. Might be your style, might not be your style, but I want to put that in perspective. Maybe give you a different idea, give you a different way to think about those option prices rather than just these random numbers flashing back and forth. They're really the price of insurance that the market is assigning to a stock position. That's what it is. Now, none of this is a trade recommendation. And, if you do decide to trade any of this stuff, long or short, whatever the product is, please use a smart strategy and don't take any more risk than you are comfortable with.